Well, hello and welcome. I'm Miss Heard with Miss Heard Song Lyrics Podcast, and this is our first ever Paul Simon Miss Heard Song Lyric for Season 4, Episode 207. The Miss Heard Song Lyric is, Mama, don't take my clothes and throw 'em. Mama, don't take my clothes and throw 'em. Mama, don't take my clothes and throw 'em away. And the correct lyrics is, Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. This is really close. I mean, I could definitely understand how people have misheard this song. So let's dig right in. Kodachrome is a song by American singer-songwriter Paul Simon. It was the lead single from his third studio album, There Goes Rhymin' Simon, in 1973, released on Columbia Records. And the song is named after Kodak's now discontinued reversal film brand, Kodachrome. So some of you youngins that don't know what I'm talking about, it's prior to any photos taken on your cell phone. It was the old-fashioned Kodachrome film. So there you go. All right, who is Paul Simon first? He was born Paul Frederick Simon back on October 13, 1941. So his birthday is coming up, what, 82 he'll be? Wow. He is an American singer-songwriter, one of the most celebrated artists of the 20th century, I agree. And his career spans about 6 decades. He was born in New Jersey, and he grew up in Queens, New York City, and developed an interest in rock music in his teens. He began to start performing with his school friend, someone you might know by the name of Art Garfunkel, in 1956, and they came to prominence in the 1960s as Simon and Garfunkel. They were known for their blend of folk and rock with hits like The Sound of Silence, Beautiful, Mrs. Robinson, America, and The Boxer served as a soundtrack to the counterculture movement. Their final album before disbanding was, beautiful song from 1970, Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's among the best-selling of all time. And in his solo career, Simon has explored genres including gospel, reggae, and soul. He then did his solo output back in 1970s called Paul Simon in 1972. There Goes Rhymin' Simon, what we're talking about today, in 1973, and Still Crazy After All These Years in 1975. That kept him in the public spotlight and drew more acclaim, producing hits like Mother and Child Reunion, Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, I like that one, and 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Simon also reunited with Garfunkel for several tours, including the 1981 concert in Central Park. Then in 1986, this was when I was a teen, I remember this precisely, he wrote the album Graceland, and that's what they say the most successful and acclaimed album, including world beat styles. Its single, You Can Call Me Al, became one of Simon's most successful. And if you've seen the video, if you haven't, look it up. It's him and Chevy Chase, the actor, singing. And I think Chevy Chase is lip syncing as if he's singing it. It's hilarious, and especially since he's so tall and Paul Simon's so small. So there you go. It's followed by the Rhythm of the Saints in 1990, a second concert at the park without Garfunkel in 1991, attended by 500,000 people. Wow. He then wrote a poorly received Broadway musical called The Cape Man in 1988. Nothing else to say about that. And in the 21st century, Simon continued to tour and record. His later albums, such as You're the One in 2000, So Beautiful or So What in 2011, and Stranger to Stranger in 2016, have introduced him to new generations. Though he retired from touring in 2018, he continues to record music with his most recent work, 7 Psalms, being released in May of 2023, so it should have released if it hasn't already. Simon is, like I said, among the most acclaimed musicians in pop music and one of the world's best-selling music artists, both for his solo work and, of course, with his collaboration with partner Art Garfunkel. He is a 2-time inductee to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I'm assuming with Art Garfunkel and then as a solo artist. That's amazing. And he has been the recipient of 16 Grammy Awards, including 3 for Album of the Year. 2 of his works, Sounds of Silence and Graceland, have been inducted into the National Recording Registry for their cultural significance. And in 2007, the Library of Congress crowned him the inaugural winner of the Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. He is also co-founder of the Children's Health Fund, a nonprofit organization that provides medical care to children. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. All right, let's talk about his personal life. There's a lot going on here. So back in 1964, I guess Simon moved to England, and he met a Kathleen Mary, or Kathy Chitty. She was born in 1947 on April 12th at the first English folk club he played, the Railway Inn Folk Club in Brentwood, Essex. And that's where Kathy Chitty worked part-time selling tickets. So that's how they met. She was, 16 and he was 22. Under 18. Yikes. Anyway, they began their relationship. It was a different time, I guess. Later that year, they visited the U.S. together, touring mainly by bus. Kathy returned to England on her own, the story goes, with Simon returning to her some weeks later. And when returned to the U.S. with the growing success of The Sounds of Silence, Kathy was quite shy, wanted no part of his success and fame that awaited Simon, so they ended their relationship. Wow, that's crazy. I wonder if she's still alive. I'll have to check that out. She is mentioned by name in at least two of his songs, one for obviously Kathy's song, and America, and also referred to in Homeward Bound and the late, great Johnny Ace. I gotta check these out. There's also a photo of Simon and Kathy on the cover of his 1965 album, The Paul Simon Songbook. So I looked it up, and they're so young and so beautiful. So check that out. Apparently, Mr. Simon has been married 3 times. He was first married to Peggy Harper in 1969, and they do have a son my age, born in 72, named Harper Simon, and a singer-songwriter in his own right. They divorced as a couple in 1975, which inspired his song, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Interesting. Simon wrote about this relationship in the song Train in the Distance from his 1983 album Hearts and Bones. That's what happens, right what you know, right? In the late 1970s, Simon lived in New York City next door to Saturday Night Live creator Lorne Michaels, who it has been described in a lot of instances on the internet that was his best friend during that time. And stick a pin on that, because there's a reason why that's a significant thing, being a friend of Lorne Michaels and being probably on Saturday Night Live a couple times. He then lived as a couple for 2 years with actress Shelley Duvall. Yeah, the Shining Shelley Duvall fame. Until she introduced him to her friend Carrie Fisher. I would like to delve into that more, like, oh, here's my friend. And then it ends up Simon and Fisher then becomes a couple. Then for his second marriage, from 1983 to 1984, so not very long, just 1 year, he was married to Carrie Fisher, a.k.a. Princess Leia. And he proposed to her after a New York Yankees game. Apparently the song Hearts and Bones was written about their time together, and the song Graceland is believed to be about seeking solace from the end of that relationship by taking a road trip. Ooh, interesting. A year after divorcing, Simon and Fisher resumed their relationship, which lasted for several years. So it sounds like they became good friends, I think, until her death several years ago. So this is now marriage number 3. Simon then married singer Edie Brickell on May 30th, 1982, and they have 3 children. So if you remember, for those of you listening, if not, go back to it. I actually did a Edie Brickell misheard song lyric when it was back on June 8th of 2022. It's episode 145, season 3. It was her song, What I Am. It sounded like she was saying, dog on a cereal box religion, when really it's philosophy is a talk on cereal box religion. So I did a misheard on her and touched that she was married to singer-songwriter Paul Simon, like I said, on May 30th, 1992. It was her first marriage. It's his third. And this is interesting how they met. So remember I talked about Saturday Night Live? Brickell was performing What I Am on NBC's Saturday Night Live on November 5th, 1988. And I remember seeing this with friends. We were watching this all together. When she noticed Paul Simon was standing in front of the cameraman, because he's friends, like I said earlier, with Lorne Michaels. And she said, even though I performed the song hundreds of times in clubs, he made me forget how the song went when I looked at him. We can show the kids the tape and say, look, that's when we first laid eyes on each other. That's pretty cool. And the rest is history. So back to the song. So after review in Billboard's May 12th issue praising its cheerfully antisocial lyrics, the song debuted at number 82 in the Hot 100 on the week ending May 19th, 1973. The lyrics to the song on There Goes Ryman Simon differed in wording from the songs on the concert in Central Park 1982 and Paul Simon's concert in the park August 15, 1991 albums. The lyrics on the original album version said, quote unquote, everything looks worse in black and white, but on the live albums he sang everything looks better in black and white. So he changed it from worse to better. Simon said, I can't remember which way I originally wrote it, better or worse, but I always changed it. Kodachrome was a song that was originally called Going Home. That makes sense because it's pretty close. And I also saw a lot of misheard song lyric references to Going Home too, but that's originally what it was. Okay, in an interview conducted back in November of 2008, Simon said that what he had in mind when writing the song was to call it Going Home. However, finding this would have been too conventional, he came up with Kodachrome because of its similar sound and larger innovative potential. He also refers to this first line as the most interesting part of the song. So I pulled up the lyrics, and the first lines is, when I think back of all the crap I learned in high school, it's a wonder I can think at all. And though my lack of education hasn't hurt me none, I can read the writing on the wall. Pretty good lyrics. Well, how did the song do? 4 weeks after its debut on the Hot 100, the song moved to number 9, sandwiched ahead of Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree by Dawn, featuring Tony Orlando, and behind May 19, 1973 Hot 100 top debut number 59, Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth by George Harrison. 2 weeks later, Kodachrome peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Behind Will It Go Around in Circles by Billy Preston, peaked at number 2 at the Billboard Adult Contemporary chart as well, so both parts of the charts. In the UK, the song was marketed as the B-side to Take Me to Mardi Gras, CBS 1578. The song was banned by the BBC and also by the Federation of Australian Radio Broadcasters. Interesting. But it did quite well, and you know, once in a blue moon, I'll hear someone sing it at the Karaoke from Live band that I like to attend here in Portland, Oregon, which is in the northwestern part of the United States, for those of our followers and listeners listening from outside the United States. And it's a delight because people love that part when he especially goes fast, which is our misheard song lyric of "Mama don't take my chrome, Kodachrome, Mama don't take my Kodachrome, Mama don't take my Kodachrome away," which we now know that that's the correct lyrics, not "Mama don't take my clothes and throw them away." So hopefully you learned something. I did. I knew that he was married to Edie Brickell. I knew that he was married to Carrie Fisher for a short amount of time, but I didn't know he had three marriages. And then I didn't know about the Kathy gal that probably was the love of his life way back in England, and wonder what she's doing now. If you have any great suggestions like this, please send it to any of our social media sites at Instagram, Twitter, well, now called X, I guess, and of course Facebook, or you can always send us an email at misheard, that's MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.